Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, had a life that was as flamboyant as his music. But few know that his love for grand adventures and exotic trips was mirrored in the very walls of his famous jungle room at Graceland. The room, originally known just as the Den, was not the lavish, animal-themed space many imagined. It wasn't made from exotic animal skins or adorned with trophies from hunting expeditions, despite what one might expect from a legendary performer known for his wild parties. Instead, the room was a product of Elvis's own design, filled with memorabilia from his Hawaiian vacations, all mass-produced items from a Memphis store. This room doubled as a sanctuary and a studio where Elvis made 3 albums, showcasing his desire for comfort and creativity away from the pressures of touring. Elvis's preference for the jungle room over traditional studios was understandable. After years of relentless touring and performing, he craved a space where he could feel at home and in control. The room, stripped of distractions with windows blanked out, allowed him to focus. This was where he could just be Elvis, away from the chaos of the music industry. It was his refuge, his place to escape and recharge. Working with Elvis in this unique environment was an experience like no other. An RCA executive recalled that Elvis was often late, preferring to share stories and jokes before diving into recording sessions. He was a man who valued comfort and spontaneity, often stopping mid-song to start over, taking charge of his creative process without a producer dictating every move. This freedom extended to his recording schedule, often starting late at night when he felt most inspired. At Graceland, Elvis's comfort and creativity knew no bounds. The jungle room and its surroundings told the story of a man who was not just a performer but a family man, a horse lover, and an artist deeply connected to his roots. The room was filled with trophies of his love for horses, a peaceful escape from his hectic life. Elvis would often escape to these fields, finding solace among the animals. It was here that he could be himself, away from the glare of fame. But Elvis's Graceland was more than just a personal retreat. It became a museum of sorts, showcasing his life and career to fans from around the world. The walls of the jungle room held not just his awards and records, but also the essence of an era in music history. Fans could walk through and feel the energy of a man who changed the face of music. They could see his jumpsuits heavier with each passing year, reflecting both his growing fame and the physical toll of his performances. Yet behind the glamour and the memorabilia, there was a more human side to Elvis. His bodyguard, Sam Thompson, shared stories of a man who sought simple joys, like riding horses and spending time with family. Even in his fame, Elvis remained grounded, buying a house for Thompson so he could be close by, illustrating the bonds of friendship and loyalty that defined his life. Elvis's Graceland, with its unique blend of personal sanctuary and public tribute, stands as a testament to his legacy. It's a place where history and pop culture converge, inviting visitors to step into the world of the king himself. Here, amidst the memorabilia and the stories, one can almost hear the echoes of Elvis's laughter and music, reminding us of a man who was larger than life, both on and off the stage. After Priscilla left for Dallas, Linda became the central woman in Elvis's life. For a while, the narrator, who was Elvis's friend and Linda's brother-in-law, felt like he was part of the family, like a brother to Elvis. But things changed when Elvis and Linda's relationship ended. The breakup didn't change how the narrator felt about Elvis. He kept being friendly and took good care of everyone around him. Elvis was very kind, which was important to the narrator. He knew Elvis valued his family, even if they weren't blood-related. Elvis understood that family ties are strong and important. Fans adored Elvis, sometimes to the point of being a bit too enthusiastic. They'd pull on his clothes and hair, treating his belongings like trophies. One night, a fan even pulled out some of his hair. Elvis loved his fans, but such actions would have hurt him deeply. He often got band-aids on his hands from all the scratches. After shows, his hands were often scratched from fans trying to grab the scarves he gave out. The narrator's job wasn't to fight fans, but to make sure Elvis could move smoothly in and out of venues while also protecting the fans. To do this, they'd use tricks like having the wardrobe man dress as a decoy, and they'd quickly leave through different doors to avoid trouble. Elvis preferred to be called a security specialist rather than just a bodyguard. He approached security from the angle of a law enforcement professional, having worked with dignitary protection. He took pride in not getting caught up in the Memphis Mafia's usual activities, like finding women for Elvis to approve of. He insisted there was no favoritism, being Linda's brother was just a coincidence. Despite his close relationship with Elvis, no one could compete with Linda's influence in Elvis's life. Linda and Elvis's relationship deepened rapidly. Linda was one of the women introduced to Elvis by a mafia member, but she had different plans. Unlike the typical relationships Elvis had, Linda wanted something more meaningful. Linda wasn't even a big Elvis fan at first, but they had an instant connection, a kindred spirit. They met for the first time on July 6, 1972. The narrator was initially hesitant to go out after midnight, but his girlfriend encouraged him. That night, Elvis arrived in a dramatic entrance, dressed in a black cape. Despite the heat, Elvis's charm quickly put Linda at ease. However, that night also brought doubts. Elvis called Linda late, his voice slurred. She thought he was drunk, but later learned he had taken sleeping pills. Despite this, Linda wasn't intimidated by Elvis. She found him down to earth, kind, and humble. These traits impressed her deeply. Elvis's humility left a lasting impression on her. Elvis's affection for Linda was immediate and intense. He invited her to meet his father, saying, "Where have you been all my life?" Linda took some time to fully believe it, but Elvis's feelings were genuine. Initially, she kept her distance, thinking he was still married, but Elvis's persistence soon showed her otherwise. He called her constantly, eager for her to join him in Las Vegas. Their relationship was unique. Elvis was often paternal towards Linda, while she took on a maternal role. They had a deep bond that shifted between lovers, friends, and something in between. They called each other affectionate names like Gullion and Bunton and Ariadne and Mommy. Their relationship was complex but deeply real, a mix of love and friendship that defined their time together. Linda's life with Elvis was unique and challenging. She knew he was unfaithful but tried to understand why. As a young girl, she felt trapped but found relief when Elvis let her have some alone time. He was very needy, wanting her around all the time. In the early days, he even accompanied her to the dentist. It felt oppressive at times, yet she loved him deeply. Elvis felt trapped too by his fame and the constant presence of the same 13 mafia members. They were like a jail to him, though he was faithful in his own way. He would spend time with other women, but it was not always about sex. He enjoyed talking or reading spiritual books to them. Elvis often said he loved Linda alone and was faithful to her heart. Linda saw two sides of Elvis. He had a wicked sense of humor, loving British comedy, and often watching shows like Monty Python. He was also passionate about karate, wanting to star in a karate movie. However, Elvis's desire for discipline in karate clashed with the wild image his manager, Colonel Parker, wanted to maintain. One lesser-discussed aspect of Elvis's life was his feelings about children. He and Linda never had kids, not because they didn't love each other, but because the lifestyle was too exhausting. Linda took care of their daughter, Lisa Marie, but found it too demanding to combine it with living with Elvis. They lived a unique life, sleeping during the day and partying at night. Despite the challenges, Linda remembered Elvis's tenderness and kindness. He was passionate, sensitive, and full of humor. He had a spiritual side, deeply connected to his faith and various religions. This spirituality stemmed from his upbringing in the South, where religious fervor was strong. Elvis respected all faiths, even wearing a Star of David and a crucifix. Elvis's love for his mother was evident, shaped by her nurturing and spiritual influence. He felt a deep connection to a twin he never had, suggesting he saw himself as complete with Linda. Their relationship was filled with fun, though it had its serious moments too. One memorable incident was when Elvis, in a fit of anger aimed at another singer, Robert Goulet, shot a gun through the TV screen during a live broadcast. Despite the chaos, Linda and Elvis enjoyed playful moments together. They made each other laugh and had fun, even in difficult times. Elvis's love for Linda was pure, even if he expressed it in unconventional ways. He was a complex man with a heart full of love, humor, and spirituality, even amidst his wild lifestyle and infidelities.